Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode.
It's not a good morning, Ray.
Podcast where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the market dump amidst potential war in the Middle East. We're going to talk about some major announcements coming from Coinbase, shaking up the crypto world. And we're going to talk about the continued adoptions of stablecoins from major Web2 players. Before we get started, this show is brought to you in partnership by our friends over at DYDX. We love DYDX. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you doing? Go to bodalgos.com/DYDX to do so. They just ended their season 1 leaderboard of their Yaps program, kicked off season 2. Season 1 winners got they got a nice little payout here. Top players got $2,500 in rewards. Top 10 here, and then all the way down to 100 got rewards. Our very own Easy Eats was claiming a $150 reward forfeited because we work with DYDX. So he woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. But continue to yap. We did a little analysis on some of these yappers this morning. Clemente found out something pretty interesting. Like looking at some of these yappers, they're only getting like 500 impressions on a post, and they're scoring in this top 10. So you don't have to be a huge account on Kaido to potentially get into this and earn some of these rewards. Like one of the top 5 reward holders was getting like I said 500 impressions on a post. He just went ham. So opportunities out there for Kaido, especially with this DYDX leaderboard. $2,500 in cash up for grabs if you're in the top 10. Not a bad way to go about it. They also have their surge rewards, which are ongoing. We're going to get the season 2 payout details soon. I believe they already gave us the total amount of rewards allocated. We're going to get the breakdown there when that starts off. And that means that June rewards program has kicked off. So June's kicking off. You can start trading now. Get your way up that leaderboard. Earn additional DYDX tokens. They're giving away multi-million dollars worth of DYDX tokens every single month. One of the best EV ways to earn if you're trading perps in crypto. Big shout out to DYDX. Love working with them. Couldn't be more excited to see what they're rolling out with their different programs. That being said, there's a lot going on today. It's very busy. And you know, there's some tension and there's some uncertainty. Clemente, how have you taken the last 24 hours with everything that's been going on?
Yeah, you know, as you know,
what is your geopolitical analysis of the nuclear situation in Iran?
As you know, I'm kind of a war specialist. Obviously, I'm prepared to give. I spent all morning preparing for this because I'm one of probably the best versed when it comes to historical wars, Middle Eastern countries. I was in Dubai. Okay, I'm just gonna do the weather report. A lot of talk about. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, June 13th. Looking over at the crypto roundup. Majors are down on the day. We got Bitcoin just over 105K. Ethereum at 2550. Solana at 146. Yao-chi. Bodagos 1.6 Solana. Over the past 24 hours, crypto and equities pulled back after Israel launched missile strikes on Iran's capital. And Iran vowed to retaliate and continue developing their nuclear program. God damn. Youchies. Equities are down about 1% across the board in pre-market trading. Trump laying down the hammer on Truth Social as well, saying that Iran does not have much time to make a deal. They're like, hey, let's go. Clock is ticking. Making a lot of threats. Next up, Coinbase made some massive announcements yesterday. They laid out plans to launch Perps trading in the U.S. They also teased plans to enable DEX trading on their platform as well, displaying trade of the Virtuals token during a demonstration. Hyperliquid bulls don't give a shit. Why? Because the only reason anyone uses Hyperliquid is you don't need a KYC and you can launder money. You don't need to pay taxes. So this doesn't matter to them. Finally, stablecoin adoption continued to accelerate as DTCC, Amazon, and Walmart all announced that they were launching their own stablecoin. Also, Shopify began to roll out USDC on base payment as payment methods during checkout on their platform. God damn. I mean, if you take out the news last night, which you never like to see, it's hard to be a bear right now. Everyone's going to crypto. You have Bitcoin, you have companies announcing that they're just gambling their treasury on crypto to get their stock to pump. Every single person on earth right now wants exposure to crypto. So it's hard to be a bear right now, Ray. Back to you in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always. Yeah, I think we saw a ton of.
It's not hard being a bear, Clemente.
We saw a ton of good news yesterday, and it got spoiled by the war. And I think the good news is kind of you can kind of see it priced in here. We dipped harder from the Elon-Trump beef on Twitter than we did with this war beef in terms of finding a bottom. We dipped all the way. We were flirting with 100K Bitcoin when Elon and Trump were going at it, and then now there's missiles in the Middle East, and we at least hit a local bottom just under 103. Yet to be seen where we end up here with this, but I think that speaks volumes about where we are in terms of Bitcoin and macro.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Bitcoin looks like Bitcoin had a good recovery. Everyone was calling for, I don't know. Udi from Taproot Wizards was calling for, saying it's still not priced in. But I look at this price action. We dumped to 103. Ray, your tweet this morning was really interesting, right? We had, what you were saying during the Elon and Trump beef, we dumped further than this, right? We dumped to 100K.
Yep.
Now we dumped to 104, or we dumped to 103, and then pretty solid recovery after. Ultimately, the narrative of Bitcoin being the safe haven asset is very interesting. And I think the institutional bid is what we're feeling here. You look at Easy, what do you make of the non-Bitcoin assets? Ethereum's down 7%, Solana down 9%. Hyperliquid looks good. What do you make of that, the altcoin price action here?
The only altcoin we should care about is DeFi Development Corp. Announced another $5 billion in Solana.
I mean, I'll hear that echo.
Huh? Why the fuck is there an echo?
I don't know. I hear an echo.
Is it good? I think we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. I didn't like that. Don't do that again. No, I'm good. DeFi Development Corp, the best altcoin.
That's a nice run up. Everything's red, 20%. They announced what, $2 billion worth of
five. This many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 billion vanillies. Overall, though, market doesn't look too bad. We bounced off of this is what I call a bullish retest, C-Dog. A bullish retest. You got a retest of the previous breakout on ETH, retest of the breakout on Bitcoin, retest of the breakout on Solana, testing the lows. Dollar index trending a little bit higher, which isn't good. My future board seat looking okay over at Robinhood. I just picked the fastest horses, man. Look at this chart. This is impeccable. This is impeccable. Hyperliquid.
Dude, I want to sell my I shouldn't do it now. I'm just why do I think I've been spending too much time with Pio, man.
What do you want to sell?
My Solana, my Ethereum. I want to sell a lot of my crypto assets, and just it's so clear to, it's so much easier to me.
The thing is, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Pio's right about Bitcoin going to $1 million.
Yeah,
100%. I completely agree. I'm going to outpace my return on the moves I make. I will outpace Bitcoin.
I believe that Easy will outpace. I believe you will outpace Bitcoin, Easy. I don't believe Clemente will outpace Bitcoin.
So that's your next challenge. Outpace Bitcoin. The thing is, over the next 30 days, if Bitcoin can move 5%, you could leave it in something like a Hyperliquid and catch a 2x.
I actually don't want to. I don't even want to buy Bitcoin. I'm not saying I'm selling Solana to buy Bitcoin. I'm
if you say MicroStrategy, I'm coming to your house and beating the shit out of you.
Robinhood.
Okay,
it's so clear to me that Robinhood's going to eat so many of these people's lunches. Dude, so many of these legacy crypto companies are smoked. They're going to get...
This is the best financial asset for anybody who's not good with finance. It is a bank, cash, an ATM, a 401k, a gambling service, crypto, options. This is the do everything finance app. Hard stop.
I agree. And it's clear to me, the problem with this, the Solana stuff is, I don't know if all of these things mean price go up is my like, I don't know. I think it will, but it's hard for me to make a real, like, here's my thought process. If I didn't have Solana exposure right now and I had Solana at $150 and I had a bunch of stables, I don't know if I'd buy Solana. That's how I'm thinking about it versus I bought it at like $30 or whatever. That's how I'm thinking about it. Is if I had stables right now, what would I buy? I'd probably buy Hyperliquid.
It sounds like you need stables right now.
I have stables. I'm sitting on stables, Ray. I'm double cheeked up on stables.
Okay. Well, then why are you complaining about having exposure to Solana right now? Like, you have a long-term investment thesis in Solana. Like, it's fine to hold a percentage of your assets in different bags. You don't need to be like, I have this one thesis that I think is going to outperform everything. I need to dump everything there. You can diversify a little bit. You're allowed.
It's what I'm diversifying into. It was just a thought exercise. You know, I think it's useful to do it. I'm not going to sell my Solana here, or my Ethereum. I'm going to sell it in the next 12 months, probably. So yeah.
Hyperliquid,
I guess.
I just shared my allocation right now. I'm 40% hype, 40% Robinhood, 1% Bitcoin, 10% cash, 4% NFTs, and 5% shorting anything that Clemente shares positively on the timeline.
Are you actually only 1% Bitcoin?
No, significantly more. Like a very large amount more. I reached my goal of how many Bitcoins I wanted this cycle. Nice. So I'm like, that's tucked away. It's on a ledger. I'm completely comfortable doing nothing with it. So I still have my entire stake Solana bag, which outpaces every other one of those bags, like size wise. Like it's too much SOL at this point, but I'm not selling it till 2026. That's the goal. I don't want the tax burden this year.
You just, okay, tax. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, Ray, I've done well enough. We had Trump this year, the AVAX pre-sales this year, and my launch coin trade that have outpaced last year. And last year was a great year. So I've already made my Q1 tax payment and Q2's coming up. Like, I'm paying them in advance for the first time ever because I'm like, I'll just do stupid shit with this money if I don't just take care of it. But that also led me to look at the Solana stuff that I have had, my like serious Solana bags, and be like, there's no reason to sell these this year. Like, just plain and simple. There's zero reason for me to, no matter the price, there is zero reason to go through the effort of unstaking these and selling these.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I guess it's more tax burden, but I mean, it also, like, the reason why you would do that is like you think that we hit a local high this year, and we don't.
No. Q2 2026.
Yeah,
that's my thesis.
All right, we keep pushing this back. Last year it was May 2025. We're pushing it back Q2 2026. I'm worried we're going to keep pushing this back because when you're in a bull market, it's very, very hard to figure out where the top.
You can get closer to the top when the market starts printing. We have not started printing. That is I thought we would have started printing and started cuts May.
Right.
Here's, you want a top signal, Ray?
Yeah.
If I ever buy a Rolex and post a picture of it on Twitter, you sell everything.
I've got too many of them now. I need to start. Yeah. I need to stop.
Easy buying one is fine. If I ever get my hands on a Rolly,
no. I can see you with a nice Audemars Piguet. If you pull out a nice fat Audemars Piguet on the timeline, yeah, there's a good chance I probably sell my car. I probably move. Good chance I just delete my Twitter because we're never coming back. If you roll up on me with an AP on the wrist,
I don't even need to buy the Rolex. If I get another one of these DMs, just asking me if I need to buy a watch. That amount. January 16th, I received this DM.
That was like Pico top. Wasn't that Trump launch? I think that was like day after Trump launch.
Yeah. Hey, Arsene, if you ever need a watch, jewelry, or luxury good, we can hook you up and take crypto payment. January 16th. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never gotten an offer like that before. So that might be my top signal. Once I start getting those DMs again, that things are getting frothy. But I don't see myself ever buying a Rolex, so I'm not gonna have that top signal. I'll be watching you, Clemente. Ton to talk about today. Coinbase, massive news. Perps trading in the US, that's gigantic, and then DEX trading on the platform, which is interesting. I haven't wrapped my head around how DEX trading is going to affect things. Does that essentially like lower like the effect of a Coinbase listing on a token, like an official Coinbase listing? Are they even going to list tokens anymore? Or is it basically going to look like a separate product where like you kind of have to know what token you're looking for to trade? Because I'm like a little confused on what the DEX trading could have an effect. Have you thought about this at all, Easy, with like the DEX trading on actual Coinbase?
Not like think about it. Most likely from a DEX on Coinbase, because they're not going. I don't think they list everything or give access to everything. It's just a level of friction that's going to be a little bit high. I don't think it'll be a traditional DEX. Like you still have the KYC, right, to get access to it. You need to make an account, upload a passport. They'll then sell your data, and then also get breached and give away your home address and how much money you've withdrawn. So like really good decentralized exchange. But no, I think it's just going to open up perps. I think the DEX's entire philosophy here is allowing longs and shorts. What, Clemente?
But it's only going to affect 1% of users.
Only 1% of users, and I just so happen to be in that 1% of users. So like,
and every person that I know that owns crypto is also in the 1%.
Yeah, pretty crazy that the majority of crypto Twitter somehow fell in the 1% of Coinbase users affected, in which their address is out.
They spun up 3 million accounts real quick.
Yeah. They pulled the Wells Fargo special.
I will say the customer support has gotten better at Coinbase, largely because I just do what I do best and just make up FUD. And then they respond and they're like, hey, give us your account so we can check on it. I'm like, well, hey, go to the dark web. It's already out there.
So
good stuff. Good stuff. C-Dog, are you buying anything?
I bought Bitcoin last
besides I don't want to hear about you buying Bitcoin or MicroStrategy or MSTY or Strike or Strife or Stride or selling covered options or
what are the next ones? Are they out of names now? Are they like what other STRI names are there?
Strip.
Oh, you can just Strip. I don't know. I can't even think of anything else. I'm trying to find this the screenshot of them trading virtuals because that sent me for like a massive fake. I was like, oh shit, Coinbase is getting ready to list virtuals.
So what if they do? That's I'm like, I actually struggle to understand why that even matters, whether or not they list virtuals.
Because I'd sell it into a pump.
Do they even? I don't think Coinbase listings have that much motion now, do they?
I think they have enough. I just entered the Jeet jail for virtuals. I sold everything I owned, converted to straight virtual, and then we saw this announcement come like 2 hours later. So I was like, "Oh damn, that's pretty hype." But it was actually
I unstaked mine like last week. I'm excited to. I also just full ported the BAIB sitter thing.
Yeah. So while we're
like 20 hours left, but I was like, I'm gonna forget to do this and be pissed off. So I put all 100K points in.
Yeah. Also, you can have points expire. I did the same thing. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. We can just quickly touch on it. Another hyped virtuals launch after we saw 500x yesterday from Iris. This one is a top 10 placement in the virtuals hackathon. It's essentially an AI that protects virtual agents from scams, hacks, and costly mistakes, analyzes transaction intent, simulates outcomes, leverages a network of social sentient agents to detect and block threats before they happen. So we now have digital AI agents that are protection for other AI agents at this point. We go deeper and deeper down the Ponzi. I'm very willing to admit this whole thing is a Ponzi and that there's going to be no value for, I'm going to say 100% of these, to be honest, in terms of long-term staying value. You hear that 99.9, it might be 100. But
hey, yo, babysitter, is this going to scam me? Dude, like, what are we talking about?
Yep, exactly.
Can we launch one? Like, can we just launch one on virtuals?
Yeah. Let's launch Top Signal, TAIOP signal, and it's just a picture of an AI Clemente. And it's like send this agent 10,000 tokens, and it'll bull post your bags.
It's top signal.
Yeah, top signal. That's good.
Dude, I miss good old fashioned working for your bags. Like
So
the
there are some
Kaido
people
stuff,
doing it, dude.
but it's not real. The Kaido stuff, like people
No,
bull
not Kaido, dude. There's been some good meme pushes recently.
Okay, what are we talking
Like, I
about?
don't want to chill them because, like, obviously after yesterday, anything over $1 million went to like 100K yesterday because of the whole war situation. So, like, you had a coin that was like, you have multiple coins that were like 1.5, 1.6, 2 mil. They're like 200K now. Like, you thought the macro sell off was bad. I watched 5 mil market cap coins get nuked into oblivion. I'm like, dude, listen, your fucking Fluffaluffagus cocky new popsicle meme coin isn't supposed to get affected by an international war.
Yeah, they were so bullish on it, and they're like, so check it out. World War III, this is really gonna affect this $2 million market cap. My favorite thing about this, I don't want, like, the war is obviously not a joke, but I just saw like a bunch of trenchers. The joke was like that all these trenchers were freaking out because they thought they were gonna get drafted, and then everyone's just like, dude, the U.S. government does not want a 28-year-old trencher who hasn't exercised in 4 years to join their army.
Aggressively addicted to vapes, eating DoorDash 4 times a week. They don't want your fucking fat ass out there on the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah. Ray, we're not launching a token. I don't want to do this.
We don't need a virtuals, dude. I don't need ICO Beast to yell at us.
No, and then we're gonna get everyone's gonna put in 50 cents and then they're gonna use Kaido to farm their next points. Dude, holy shit.
Well, obviously we have to get a partnership with Kaido to get a mindshare board for Top Signal.
We have to. I do like that, actually. Top Signal.
Moving on, though, fun to talk about that. Just something that we've been following along with. Stablecoin news. Another headline that we haven't talked about yet. We have Amazon, Walmart, DTCC all looking at launching their own stablecoins. Is every major company like platform going to launch stablecoins? Is that something that's going to happen here? Like what does that look like? That sounds more confusing than it does like ease of transaction. Like you're gonna be holding Walmart stablecoins and Amazon stablecoins.
Yeah.
Maybe it just replaces like gift cards. Like is that essentially like the framework you use as like a normie?
That's a great question. I actually don't know. It's like we're just moving. There's like the next everyone launching their own L1s.
Yeah, everyone's like, okay, stablecoin time.
Corporate coins could take payments activity away from banks and the traditional financial system. So if anything, this is just banks are cooked. Like it from what it sounds like, it would be like Amazon wants to become their own bank, and you just custody your funds. Like you just have an Amazon wallet. And
no one here is using a stablecoin in this picture.
It is interesting because the benefit I'm spitballing would be like they get to see, like they get to own the currency, right? So they actually get a lot more control over what's going on. And if it's backed 1-for-1 US dollars, it is interesting. I see exactly why they're doing it, because instead of being reliant on the bank, you can just control it all.
They don't have to worry about credit card fees. You're paying a ton. They probably pay a ton in credit card fees every year.
Yeah. There you go.
Exactly what Blade's saying.
Yep. Hell yeah, dude. That's actual like solving real problems. We should just short credit card companies, I guess.
No. You short the buy now, pay later companies. Those are the ones that are going to collapse.
Those are
the credit card stuff, dude, is all just going to get hyper competitive. Like the Coinbase card slaps, but competition is good because now they're basically just going to try to give you as many rewards as possible.
Credit cards are a joke. I have a $300.
That's because you don't have a credit score,
dude. My credit card limit is $300.
So is this your first credit card?
No, I just haven't used a credit card in like a year and a half.
So it's gonna take you like a while. But once you like start to use credit cards, your balance can ramp pretty damn quickly, especially if you can show proof of a balance. Like, dude, you had no credit score 3 months ago. You logged into Credit Karma and it was like, this user does not exist. Please call ICE.
Yeah, Ice was licking their chops.
Yeah, Ice watched the stream and they're like, boys, we got him. Public figures going down.
Dude, no. Well, no, my credit score was like 700. I thought it was. That's what that's what Nerd Wallet or whatever Credit Karma was telling me. And then I applied for the Gemini credit card because I was like, yo, this looks sick. I want Bitcoin cash back. And they said my credit whatever the limit was, they said I passed it. The Gemini team did. So I'm like, I'm gonna apply. I don't think I've gotten a faster denial. I applied, and within seconds, I've never experienced this before. Within seconds, I get an email saying I was rejected. Gemini wanted nothing to do with me.
Clemente is taking heat in the comments here. Why do you let Clemente give advice with a $300 credit limit? $300 credit limit for Clemente means the system works.
It's such bullshit. And then I went to my Capital One, and I'm like, yo, give me a credit card increase because I can't use it if it's only $300 limit.
I switched right now.
I can barely buy groceries. I go there and I'm like, shit, did I pay that? Every time I use it, I gotta pay it
check
off.
if you paid.
Every time I use it, I gotta pay it off. And then I asked for a credit card increase. They're like, nah. Nope.
Well, dude, the annoying thing is like once you have good credit, you just get terrible offers all the time. Like they try to get me to buy like a $300,000 car like once a week. They're like, yeah, here's a 4.5% loan. Buy your dream car, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I'm like, dude, leave me the fuck alone. Like, I'm gonna do it. Stop sending me targeted ads.
Tommy, call back to yesterday's show. We need to catch Clemente. Just call Evan, the CEO from yesterday. For anyone who didn't watch, we had a fun interview with Evan, CEO of Bravo Ready Games. He had quite the setup behind him.
That was something.
Ray, can we talk about the public companies buying crypto? I'm fascinated by this.
Which ones? We got Mercury FinTech is planning an $800 million Bitcoin Treasury raise. We have SharpLink, SBET on the NASDAQ. This one fell off a cliff yesterday. I want to bring up the price action here and talk about this one.
That's Josh Lubin's company, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one ran all the way up to 120 and then just absolutely got smoked yesterday. Ran from $40 all the way down to $10, down 68% aftermarket trading. Just opened up. Yeah, I think this thing is like halted right now, to be honest.
So on May 27th, SharpLink announced a $425 million private share deal with the goal of using the proceeds to pursue an Ethereum treasury strategy. And then I'm assuming people thought it was linked to Joseph Lubin.
Yep. And then yesterday they filed a shelf offering to sell shares, essentially. Basically, like investor shares, they could sell up to I don't know the percentage, but like basically people who held the stock and then they announced this, like the insiders can now potentially sell. With
basically, the dev said, "I'm going to sell."
Yeah.
Joseph said he did.
Terms.
So what is this? SBET?
SBET.
Yeah.
What's the market cap of this thing? 658. Should we buy this? Straight up. $658 million market cap. They're buying $450 million in Ethereum. Well, 425.
Yeah, I mean, they just made an announcement that they acquired roughly 463 million as well after like that shelf offering news. I don't know. I mean, I think it's all very like sketchy right now. I mean, but like those are opportunities where like you could have asymmetric risk potentially for something like this.
It is insane to watch this play out. That basically, so I have a lot of takeaways from the public companies using.
Hold up, real quick. I want to circle back to the Coinbase thing. Jesse Pollock just made a comment on it. All base assets will be listed via the DEX. Very interesting.
So what are we buying? Ski Mask Dog?
Yeah, probably Ski Mask Dog. Probably bases for everyone. Great coin.
Base is just for base people, I think, at this point. Everything's down on the day on base. I mean, that's pretty much normal.
I mean, look at the whole fucking market, Raymond.
Come on, Raymond. Cakes, how's it going?
Is this Raymond?
What's up, guys?
How you doing? How you feeling?
Not bad, man. Not bad. price is down, but hey, that's life. It's not a straight shot up.
Yeah, your wife's SUV is looking more like a smart car.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know, whatever they're doing in the Middle East, they figure it out and the risk goes away.
Hype's not doing terrible today, though. I mean, it's holding up pretty well compared to everything else, right?
Yeah, it's still sitting around 40, I think.
Yeah, we're right at the top when Clemente top ticked it last time. So let's see what happens here. Kix, I'd love to hear what you've been up to. Thoughts on the market in general. Have you been doing any kind of participation right now, or have you been seeing any of this kind of like news? We had a pretty bullish day. We already talked about the Coinbase Perps, Coinbase DEX, and then a bunch of the stablecoin stuff coming out, like Walmart and Amazon looking at it, Shopify enabling USDC. Any general thoughts on the market and where we're at right now?
Yeah, the stablecoin stuff is cool, and I guess just expect it as stablecoins continue to become more popular. I didn't hear about the Coinbase DEX perp, whatever, copycats, huh?
Yeah, so Perps coming on Coinbase to the US.
Yeah, so I knew that was coming, yeah.
And then they also announced that they're going to enable DEX trading for base assets within the app.
That's cool. Oh, so they'll just work off of existing DEXs.
Yes, yeah. So basically, you'll be able to use like retail or whoever is in the space using Coinbase as like their main method of purchase. They can trade using Coinbase funds,
like whatever they want.
Yeah, essentially.
So they're going to basically be able to open up a lot more things for Coinbase users to be able to trade.
Yeah, I mean, end game for our bags is just more liquidity on any base token, essentially natively.
Yeah.
But then again, you also lose any sort of like hype, I guess. Like, oh, this base token is doing well. Coinbase is going to list it. Well, Coinbase is already technically listing it.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, maybe it just makes it like smoother because I don't know. I feel like the whole like Coinbase list something has been less and less of like it's been more of like an exit thing than like a cool. Now it's going to go up 5x from here, and I feel like that game can only go on for so long before you condition the people on Coinbase to just not want to buy anything new. So definitely probably a net positive, but that they only can buy base coins with it.
Yeah, that's what Easy was saying. It's basically all base coins are going to be listed natively.
Well, probably more people will do like, liquidity bridges over to base to get that exposure if they actually see the users trading with it a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's wild like how much like competition from different areas are coming in, right? Like Robinhood, like Coinbase now has to look at Robinhood like a competitor. You know what I mean? And like, how are we going to compete with Robinhood? And then you have Stripe making these massive moves into crypto, like trying to be the infrastructure rails for money moving around, right? They acquired Privy, which I think yesterday, which was massive. And they already acquired Bridge, which I never heard of before, but I'm assuming, both of those together is going to make it so that like people can onboard even easier via Stripe with credit cards, debit cards. And the Privy hook into that is massive, right? Because now we're basically talking about people being able to launch crypto D apps, and there's no or very little front end friction to like onboarding a Web 2 user. There's not going to be really this is a Web 2 user, this is a Web 3 user. If you have Privy installed in a D app, you can market to anybody because they can just use a credit card out of the. But yeah, I mean, there's the big dogs are coming. I think PO said that before. Like if you're a MoonPay, like no one can sit around and be comfy right now, right? You're a MoonPay, you're like, holy shit, Stripes in the game now. Even if you're Hyperliquid, you got to be like, cool. Robinhood has Perps. Coinbase is going to have Perps. If you're Polymarket, you're like Kalshi's working with Robinhood. If you're Kalshi, you're like Polymarket's working with X. You know what I mean? We're seeing I think the adoption that we're all hoping we were going to see in 2021 is getting teed up now. Which is awesome because I think that like for all of us, yes, we love the majors, but new things are exciting. And you got to think that all of this infrastructure, right, and all of these things being enabled is going to make it even easier and more legitimate for all sorts of builders to want to come and tap into it, right? Because in 2021, even when we had a bunch of...
Oh, no. We've got a freeze on Kicks right now.
I thought that was me because I just slapped a VPN on. I was like, oh, shit. He just freeze on me.
They're trying to shut me down.
I heard Kicks talking about the majors, and I was like, damn, I got to go bet on Oakmont. Got to go play the majors.
Dude, Oakmont's wild, dude. My family and I, Easy, we do like a no money. We just do a snake draft, and we pick players. I don't have a single player in the top 40.
I mean, dude, I was watching. So Bryson DeChambeau, one of the best YouTubes out right now for golf. Guy just crushes it on YouTube. He played Oakmont like a couple weeks ago, and he said if you shoot under par, it's going to be one of the best rounds you've ever played in your life.
Yeah.
He's +3 right now, +4. Yeah. We're getting into golf talk. We can stay away from this. But you said majors. It reminded me of...
Dude, YouTube golf Riggs, like the Barstool guys, they let him play at Oakmont last week, and it was like so bad.
I have the video of him just like duffing drives and like, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, they like breeded the grass to be like extra thick and like Unforgiven.
So no, the grass is always like this. It's been like this since like the 60s.
This year they did some kind of new blend. They were saying like something to make it like even worse.
Like I guarantee that ball that guy dropped there right there, I'm not getting it out. I won't even try to get it out. If I'm in the rough at Oakmont, I'm just going to take an unplayable.
Oh no, that's a free drop cart path.
You can't even see it.
I'm just going to take the 2 strokes and get into the fairway.
Yeah. It's pretty rough, and I think they have like super fast greens too. Like it's just like they're trying to make
really fast, really small.
Oh
just
my god, dude! There's some absurd videos here.
I mean, that's like insane right there. That's like a 1970s Bush.
What do you mean by that?
Like in golf, you know? Like yeah.
This guy trying to hit a wood out of the rough is interesting.
We just completely pivoted to golf talk here.
Yeah, we're now a golf stream. So if
golf and crypto is super synergistic, man. Yeah. But yeah, dude, Hype's back over $40. You know what? I made a big mistake. So I told my wife, don't ask me how the SUV trade is going. You can just Google Hype and see the price. And so yesterday I get home and she's like, the Hype price is not looking great right now. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, it's back down to like $40. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, things go up, things go down. She's like, well, yeah, they're saying that it's people profit taking. And I'm like, who's they? And she's like, because she Googled it and like, you know how Coinbase
these words?
I know Coinbase talks about like tokens, right? They have like, even if they don't trade them, they have like a page, right? Coinbase has a page. She's like, I think it's AI automated, but she's like reading from Coinbase and she's like, yeah, the price is going down because there's a lot of profit taking as it breaks out to a new all-time high. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like, now I have to explain things to her,
Like, where are you learning these things?
I know. She's like reading it right off there. I'm like, oh God, I shouldn't have told her. I shouldn't have told her the ticker.
She's gonna get into crypto Twitter. She's gonna be like, who's this guy Mitch? I draw a line. And why does he hate and you're like, whoa.
She's like, the SUV trade's moving a little too slow.
Don't say it.
Have you considered Mudang?
Yeah, we should be taking more. Hey, Nick, this thing went 5x in a week. Why aren't we in that one?
Murad says to buy into strong coins with strong communities, and the AI is going to take your job in 2 years.
Yeah, my greatest fear is what Ellie said is that she's going to like load 5K in and she's just going to like just outtrade the fuck out of me. Why do I even need you anymore?
She's going to give you she's just going to do it strictly off the Coinbase news. She's like, they're profit taking here. I'll sell. Like,
exactly.
Value. Just
Coinbase said the TWAP is looking really good right now. So I'm going to size in.
So I've been watching a lot of YouTube on the Ichimoto clouds, and I've become an extremely big fan of these. Nick, have you thought about these?
Easy said he made 5 SOL on shitters today. So I just downloaded the Pump.fun app.
We just went through the whole onboarding process for crypto.
Yeah. And then in my head, I was like going to explain to her, like, it's like, do I need to explain to her that, like, no, I think it's the fact that, like, Israel's bombing Iran. I don't think it's profit taking that's affecting the price. And I'm like, we're just going to get on a 30-minute conversation here. I'm just going to nod and be like, yeah, people are taking some profits. It's all good. You know, that's going to be us at $100, honey. You know, we got to respect the profit taking.
Oh, man. Speaking of profit taking, let's go to the next story. You see the Hype Treasury was announced? First Hype Treasury company kicks.
No shit.
Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, what a joke.
Tony
what
G.
A joke.
Tony G, baby.
This dude's broke. Tony G. Dude, you bought $400,000 worth of Hype? Like, what are we talking? And the fact that makes a stock pump 5x is insane to me.
It's insane, dude. It's it's crime season in the stock market. Like, that's why I'm like so like, look at that chart, dude. It looks like a fucking, someone with dementia trying to paint it. Like, it's tough. Here's the thing. There's good ones. You guys probably know better than me, but I just think I'm going to get wrecked if I try to play any of these. But if you want something really interesting about Hype, that I think is cool and a sign of where they're going, yesterday they launched, you can trade gold on Hype, and it's fully backed.
You front ran me.
Oh, sorry.
XAUTO.
Yeah. Which is like pretty wild. And then in theory, any token that's on spot can eventually then be traded via perps. So then they can trade. So then you can start doing, leverage trading on gold. And then what happens, obviously silver next, maybe some plutonium, uranium, and then oil. Yeah, and then who knows what other assets we can start trading. But I don't know. I think that's like their whole vision of being like the base liquidity layer, and you can trade anything decentralized on chain. I think it's pretty cool to be able to trade gold. And this is fully backed, unlike the scam I bought my first on-chain purchase ever in 2021. I bought a synthetic gold stablecoin, which was a complete scam. Lost $3K, almost quit crypto. Glad I didn't.
This graphic really has me wanting to buy some gold.
It looks good.
Doesn't it look good? This looks
like
nice.
Who is that graphic designer? Is that AI? If that's a real person, hire that person.
So
Yeah.
can you guys explain to me what problem this solved? Like, so if I'm not a trader, right?
Mhm.
I never traded the stock market very closely. I just bought stocks.
Yeah.
I lost money in a lot of them because I got into it in like 2020. I bought like Chegg, Zillow, blah, blah, blah. Is there so in a traditional stock market, there's no like leverage, right? You just have to take options.
You can do options on gold right now.
But you can't be like, I want to take a 40x leverage long on gold right now, or on Microsoft, for example.
Yeah, that's a good question. Perps, for whatever reason, first of all, they never were really popular in TradFi. They all prefer to use contracts for whatever reason. So I'm sure there's like leveraged gold ETFs, right? Or like things like that. So you could still get leverage. Yeah, like C-Dog said, there might be like 2x products and stuff like that. I don't think
that's cool though. Like the fact that this doesn't exist is really interesting. I mean, that makes sense to me why there's so much interest in Hyperliquid. The thing for me is I don't trade with leverage. So I see a lot of traders that are like, dude, I've lost so much money leverage trading. This is why I'm bullish on Hyperliquid, because I can just be the casino, right?
Yeah.
And they're just taking the profits to buy back the token.
Yeah, I approach leverage like I approach leverage as whatever I leverage to is the bet that I want to make. So it's basically just like let's say I want to bet 3K spot on Hype, right?
Yeah.
And they have a 5x leverage on Hype, right? So then you could buy $600 worth of Hype, 5x leverage, and it's the same thing. When people get themselves in trouble with leverage is when they're like trying to lever up and trade more than the actual money they have, because then the swings are going to destroy yourself, right? But like, you can trade leverage just like it's spot, right? If you're like, I want to make a 5K bet on this thing, you can make a $500 bet at 10x leverage and just know that you'll lose your $500 if it goes down by 10%, right? That's like the smart way to trade with leverage. The really sophisticated people, they like perps because they can like do cross margin stuff, right? So like if you had 5K, you could go long on one token and short on the other token and have like more exposure, right? But with the same base of capital. And if you think they're both highly correlated, right? Like the inverse of each other, then you can like bet more, but you're not increasing your risk necessarily if your like risk models are good. I think Perps is very much like options trading, right? Where in crypto or in stocks, where like options were created as like a sophisticated financial tool for very smart people. And then retail started getting into it and being like, oh, I can buy the 0-day expiration on the S&P and I'm going to make 10x or nothing, right? Like same with Perps. They're like designed for market makers and sophisticated people, but retail still, plays with fire.
So why is it like eventually won't every single, like Coinbase just announced that they're getting into it. Robinhood like is obviously going to eventually get into this.
Yeah.
Is the advantage that Hyperliquid has basically that you don't need to KYC, and for people that don't like to pay taxes, they can do a lot of things with on Hyperliquid that they can't do anywhere else, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Also like like worldwide liquidity. Right. So like anyone across the world can use it instead of certain things being US products. But where I think that they'll have an edge against like a Robinhood or an edge against like a Coinbase is that they'll probably have the best rates. Like they're going to try to win on like Coinbase fees are nasty, right? And Coinbase is a publicly traded company. Coinbase can't launch perps and make all of their perps cheaper than they'll cannibalize their own business model. You know what I mean? If they launch perps, right? So they're going to launch perps, but it's going to be shittier fees than Hyperliquid. And so I think, I think Hyperliquid is just going to win on being, it's like if you charge 5% fees and then someone else charges 1% fees, they can make more money than you just because if they have more than 5x the volume, right?
I mean,
yes, LP Energy has a good point here. Don't try to get Clemente more bullish on hype.
Well, I listen to this and like to me, there's few tokens that I feel like click in my head where I see the price going up as adoption goes up, and like with this buyback model, it's really interesting. I also think the token for them was a huge attention vector to like actually bring people to the platform, right, and like use it and.
Yeah, and I think their approach is kind of like Axie Infinity in a sense, where like Axie Infinity was the product, right? And then they launched Ronin the chain, and then they're trying to like the Hyperliquid, the product was the perps, right? But now they have the chain and this infrastructure layer on top, and that's how they're going to try to take it to the next level. So like a big thing that they're doing is they have this thing called HIP-3 coming out. And what that's going to allow is anybody like a market maker, if you're a super rich market maker, you can stake 1 million hype and they're going to allow you to list perps and get half of the fees. So then Hyperliquid doesn't have to be in charge of perp. Like they're just the underlying layer, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a market maker on Solana and you love meme coins and you're making a lot of money on meme coins, you can stake 1 million hype and you can just start launching perps for any meme coin on Solana. So instead of it being pseudo-centralized, meaning hype is the one that's dictating what perps markets can be traded, eventually within the next like 6 months or something like that, anybody in crypto with money that's a market maker can start listing perps, and then they'll just, you'll be able to trade anything on there, right?
100%. Yeah, this makes sense. And then I go back to like VX Crypto also brings up a good point. Like Hyperliquid's at a $40 billion market cap already. So he's like, is it at a $40 billion market cap fully FTV.
Fully diluted, yeah.
What's Robinhood? Like I'm.
The thing is, that's going to go down over time too. That FTV that goes down every day
because they're buying and burning.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So like if they're doing and that's like the whole different thing is like you can't rate these types of crypto products like you do a governance token.
No, I know, but I'm like, okay, Robinhood.
I mean, he's not wrong. This isn't like a top 500 token that you're thinking can go top 100, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a different play. But I mean, like Binance's FTV is 95 billion.
Robinhood's at 65B. So it's like, oh shit. I do think they both go up. It's very interesting. Yeah, I think, but I have an easier. I have an easier time understanding these, like the hypes of the world than a rent, like honestly, than like Solana. If I'm being honest.
Like if Hyperliquid, imagine a future like 2 years from now, and Hyperliquid is doing a couple billion a year in buybacks and burns. That's like a 10 times, valuation.
How much are they making right now per month? Or sorry, per day and buying back?
It's like in the 3 to 4 million. So they're at like $1 billion a year in buybacks.
Very interesting. I want to do a deep dive on this in general because I think the perps market is like what's OG Gaming brings up another point. Lighter is another kind of competitor, but they have no fees and they're in beta right now. I've seen a lot of traction on that. I was looking at Bluefin, I believe is the name, on Sui, also doing perps and gaining traction. The question is, is it Hyperliquid just takes most, right? Winner takes all or winner takes most, or is there going to be a world where like people don't have very much loyalty to the perps trading platform they use and they just go to the lowest fees possible?
Liquidity matters more than fees, because if you don't have liquidity, you're not going to get fills at good prices. So your entry is off by more than a percentage of the fee. So liquidity, I think, matters more so than fees, or at least it's a sliding scale between the two. If you have no fees but not much liquidity, then you could end up getting like a worse entry on that platform versus a platform with fees but better liquidity. Does that make sense?
Got it. Fantastic.
Looking at the revenue, 4.3 million in the last 24 hours for Hyperliquid, 64 million, just shy of 65 million on the month.
Good.
So anywhere between 700 mil and 1.5 bill based on those two numbers there, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, eBrink has a good point too, and liquidity attracts more liquidity, so it is kind of like a winner takes most scenario.
Got it. Okay, cool. And 100% of the revenue goes to buy back the token?
I don't know.
Yes?
I don't know that exactly.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought it was yes.
It's actually 200% because they issue bonds and convertible debt to get more capital. It's a flywheel.
Speaking of flywheels, let's get more down the risk curve. I shared this with Clemente and Easy this morning. Look at this 3.5x or 4.5x from another meme coin. We just saw Ara do this. Shark Cat looks like it might be the next one to do one of these like crazy runs from $5 million, sub 5 million market cap, all the way up to 18 million overnight when everything else is bleeding. I have no idea what's happening here. I'd love some context if the audience knows what the hell's happening. Dude, let's all basically Ara do this and then double 2 days in a row. So like, is this another CTO play with like a random Binance?
Clearly, this is your forte. Buy into strength.
Yeah, right.
Buy into strength. And it's a shark. It's a shark and a cat. We just had that stream the other day where I was really getting into the sharks. Like this feels like it should be a buy for me.
Well, this is also like that guy who does the shark videos.
I'm gonna buy into strength live right now.
Oh,
you're still holding your Hyperliquid strength buy?
Yeah.
Nice. That was a good trade, right?
Yeah.
All right, which one do we buy next? How do we do this ourselves?
Fine.
Damn, should we buy Rizzler? Rizzler's at 600K.
What are you talking about?
I'm trying to find the next Shark Cat. Old
Oh,
token.
the next r/RKT. Well, you need to be in the Cabal chats. You can't just like look on DEX Screen and be like that one.
All right, we can do this shit ourselves.
What else? What else ran? Like, where's Easy's list? Where's Easy's list from the Murad list when he made that meme coin basket right around Murad time? I think Aura was one of those, and there was a couple other low market caps on there.
Dude, I don't fucking miss, Ray.
Moo the bull.
Oh yeah, Mew.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's the one you target.
Thing's at 9 mil already. The fact that this pumped to 300 mil is actually ridiculous.
I can't believe I had Aura on that list.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, here it is. This is the one. Look at this. Look at this. Is this not the pre CTO volume here?
Yeah.
I'm not buying this. I'm not touching the 10-foot pole, but I'm going to cope when this does the next Aura/REKT CTO into some random scam listing that pumps it 100x. Seeing MLG next from the comments. Yeah, there's a lot of tokens that have like been pretty much dead and down only. I wanted to highlight that one because it moved on the day. Other tokens that we've been talking about, we had some news come out of the REKT ecosystem, partnering with Jupiter and Meteora. Announced that Jupiter has taken a position in REKT, bring REKT drinks to Solana. So maybe the next drop is going to take place on Solana on Jupiter. And they also, you can bridge REKT to Solana using layer 0 now. So REKT continuing to make moves, basically touching every chain, every major product, doing great stuff over there. Great biz dev from OSF and the boys. Love to see it. I talked about buying into strength here and I didn't. Did REKT pull back across, like everything else across the market yesterday, or did we outperform? Let's take a look. Down 11%. Pretty much consistent with the market, but this one's been on an absolute heater. Yeah, we talked yesterday, Kix. It was if I should buy into strength again, do my normal not top less, but buy into strong tokens. REKT at all-time highs now. Crazy.
That's awesome. Good for those guys.
All right, that wraps up everything I have on my list. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we wrap today?
Good on my end.
Good to wrap, Ray. Let's go.
Thank you all for listening to another wonderful show. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple. Watch us on YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time. Thank you.